Hey, just a quick video. I didn't feel like wearing the crown for this one, so I just really wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. As you can see, I've been changing around the podcast set for Demon Toast. I've got Shadow the Hedgehog back there with his creator, Edgar Allan Poe, Santa Zilla. Also, my book, The Demon Struggle for His Infernal Soul, right behind the menorah with the Wolfman. Anyway, I feel like talking about Marilyn Manson. You know, everyone's favorite shock rocker, everyone's favorite rapist, alleged rapist. As of now, he's accused of rape and abuse by Evan Rachel Wood. As of the recording of this video, he has dropped his defamation countersuit, paid her $327,000. He was countersuing her for conspiracy and defamation. And I think at this point, he just really wants it to go away. He lost his record deal after We Are Chaos, and the allegations really started. And, he's just starting a tour. One Assassination Under God is, I think, doing fairly well. So, he's ready for this all to just disappear. Several other women have come forward. One of those is Esme Bianco, who was on Game of Thrones. She played Tyrion's whore, lover, however you want to phrase it. It is interesting to note that other women he was involved with, such as Rose McGowan and Dita Von Teese, they have nothing negative to report. They stand with the accusers because, frankly, just because they didn't experience any abuse doesn't mean that Manson is blameless. He might very well be the type of abuser who likes to abuse young, vulnerable women, He's married to, a model now. I forget what her name is. But, again, I've said from the start that he should never have been fucking with a 17-year-old girl. She was 18 when they started dating. He was 36. And, it's a bad sign. I don't care how much he may have loved her. She was clearly a very, very good muse. I'm a big fan of Eat Me, Drink Me. I'm also a big fan of The High End of Low, which he wrote in the wake of their breakup. If you don't like those albums, because you think like, oh, Manson changed, we're not friends, go. So why make this video, right? Why come on here to my little platform and, step my foot in the tar? It's because it's disappointing. He's been one of my heroes for a really long time. He's right up there with Mr. Poe. He's right up there with Hendrix, Bowie. He is second to no one when it comes to exploiting the stylish isolation and darkness of the goth genre and, scandalizing and highlighting the hypocrisy of America's Christian nature. Specifically the religious hypocrisy that people shove down our throats. The type of people that fucking Donald Trump empowers because they fund his political aspirations, As I make this video, the Supreme Court is hearing a case about transgender people's right to care. And it's a real, first they came for the communists, then they came for the Jews kind of energy going on right now, as a queer person, I'm kind of like, well, it's open season, I guess. But getting back to Marilyn Manson, I have a few notes here on my note cards just to jog my memory, like, In the Shadow of the Valley of Death, an album like Hollywood, right? I mean, that song in particular, it has this loneliness, this misery that it wallows in. He has this beautiful line where he says, I wish that I could be a king because then at least I'd belong somewhere. And it's like, he's not wishing he was a king for the money and power. It's because he just feels so fucking inhuman. He wishes he could be anything, feel any other way. And it's like, a lot of people who are queer, a lot of people who walk away from religion and find themselves without community, anyone who deviates from the norm, right, of what society wants you to be, like, they can look at Marilyn Manson and be like, this guy's a bad motherfucker. He lives his life without regrets. I want that energy, you know? And, like, you know, he has these incredible songs like The Speed of Pain, right? Which is on Mechanical Animals, where he says, like, we are just damaged provider modules. And, like, to a certain degree, it's like, that's all society really wants from us. You know? If you're not beautiful enough, you're not rich enough. And money is the real measure of success in America, unfortunately, right? You're just there to give your time to a soulless, soul-crushing job. And you want to make art? Fuck you. You know? You want to live, like, a different kind of life? Conform, motherfucker. And, like, that's why it's so disappointing to see that Manson probably is an abuser, you know? Again, I mentioned these women who, like, he had these relationships with. Women who he treated as equals. And it's like, yeah, assholes aren't assholes all the time. You know, Hitler gave his inheritance to his sister who was poor. You know what I mean? Like, you could be a bad person and do nice things. You can be an abuser and not abuse everyone you come in contact with, right? So, like, the reason why I'm even going here is because I've been listening to the new album, right? I've been listening to One Assassination Under God. It came out last week. You know? And, like, it's one of those things where, like, I don't need affirmation from Marilyn Manson to make art anymore. You know, I edit Death Wish Poetry Magazine. I write my novels. You know, I publish my fucking books. I write poetry. Like, I'm not looking for a daddy anymore. You know, I'm not looking for someone to emulate. My heroes are really just people I go to occasionally now to be like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know? But in this era where it really feels like a lot of people voted for this Christian nationalist, anti-freedom agenda, this Project 2025, you know, empower the fucking corporations to do whatever the fuck they want, for no better reason than they felt like Joe Biden wasn't doing enough for them. So it's like, oh, we'll give Trump another chance. And they didn't look at what his policies were. They don't understand what tariffs are. And they think that, like, oh, that, like, gay shit, who cares, man? It doesn't affect my life, so why should I care? Even though, like, you know, during Trump's first, like, administration, he he put 3 justices on the Supreme Court, and they went ahead and killed abortion. Now women are dying because, like, at least 6 women have died in Texas because of abortion bans. Because Texas it was allowed to ban abortion as a result of Trump's actions, doctors are like, oh, you miscarried. I don't want to just remove the baby because I might be liable for murder. So, you know, yeah. Idaho has laws prohibiting women from leaving the state to get an abortion in a state where it's legal. You can be put in jail for taking a woman across state lines. So it's like, it's not even up to the states. Like, they're literally just policing women's bodies. And it's like, this narishkeit over, like, you know, people panicking over trans people. This is not a widespread issue. You know, puberty blockers are used in lots of cases that have nothing to do with, like, kids that are transgender. They're completely reversible. I mean, if you're I'm not transgender, but if you are, you don't want to go through puberty. You know, if you're born male and you feel like you should be female and you're fucking suffering from dysphoria, why should you go through puberty and develop all the secondary male sex characteristics? Put a puberty blocker on, and when you turn 18 and you can fucking get your surgery or whatever the hell you need to do, make that decision, right? Puberty blockers can always be taken off and reversed. But no, we gotta protect the children. We gotta police the gays, you know? So it's like, I don't know. If we don't stand up for the least of us, what are we even doing, right? So anyway, in light of this, we have Marilyn Manson releasing his album. What he's doing is he's hitting back at his accusers, you know? He might have dropped the lawsuit, but he's coming after them in his art, where you're going to get the real Marilyn Manson. You know, our court system is a joke. It's a fucking joke. If you're wealthy, you get away with it. Occasionally, a billionaire, like, gets a slap on the wrist, you know? My point is that Manson, in hitting back at his allies, his bitter fucking resentment and defiance, it appeals to me. He has this one song where he says, it's time to beat up the bullies and rip your bullseye off my back. My red flag is your white one drenched in blood. And it's like, fuck yeah. He has another song. I can't remember which song it is. Just listen to the album. He says, I want destruction. I want towers to crumble. Imagine you wake up and this is your world. So it's like, you know, in an era where you feel like you might become a second-class citizen in the next few years, Marilyn Manson's defiance and just utter outsider wrath, it's empowering, you know? It's empowering in ways that, like, Sleep Token, Guar, Ghost, all these other bands that I've replaced Manson with in my headspace, they just don't hit that itch in the same way, you know? The rage just isn't there. The soul isn't there. So it's, you know, so at the end of the day, I wish Manson would come out and be like, look, I shouldn't have fucked with Evan Rachel Wood. Like, maybe she should, you know, I'm not going to victim blame her personally, but he should come out and be like, I shouldn't have did that. I'm going to donate X amount of money to whatever. But nah, instead it's just a middle finger to the world, and he, you know, he goes on doing his thing, acting the pariah, as he always does. So yeah, don't give him your money, you know? Pirate the fucking album. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not going to buy it. I would love to buy it. You know, he's got a painting that he did of himself on the cover where he's Saturn, which is such a great image. You know, Saturn eats his own children. Saturn is the greatest god. He's also the god who's sacrificed so that the Olympians can become the new gods, right? And he's like, this is what's happening to me. I might disagree with what he's doing, but I gotta admire the art, you know? It's cool. And in a world where Walmart fucking guts local businesses and tortures its employees and really just undermines, like, any chance that workers have for unionizing or anything like that, Marilyn Manson doesn't feel like the most evil person in the world. Not when Donald Trump gets to go up and, you know, escalate the drone war and deport anyone he feels like deporting. House, Senate, Supreme Court, White House, it's all his. I mean, and what do we do? What do our politicians do? Nothing, you know? They talk about how he's a fascist for, I mean, what, 2 years now? And then Kamala's babbling about how the stars are brightest in the night or whatever as she walks off her concession speech. It's fucking pathetic. You know, her and Hillary Clinton can go les out. I don't know what to say, but whatever. So, yeah, I mean, celebrities aren't your friends. All your heroes will betray you. But I'm King Loki, and I think you should love your demons, write poetry, and stay spooky no matter fucking what. Ave Satanis. Also, this video is brought to you by Death Wish Poetry magazine. Winter edition drops on the 20th. If you submitted, great. If not, stay tuned. We're opening up again sometime next year. And also, it's brought to you by my book, The Demon Struggle for His Infernal Soul. The story of a demon prince who discovers that he may have gotten a little too far in a terrorist plot to undermine the empire he lives in. So, if you like dark fantasy and you want to support independent art, check that out too. Links are down below. Follow me on Bluesky, Instagram, all that good stuff.